It is May already, crikey, where has the time gone? So that means that the Goblin Rio 800 is done, finished with. Time to not use it anymore, but how did it do, obviously, and what are we going to use next? But all those questions and no more will be answered in today's video. Yes, hello my vacuum cleaner chums, how are you today? 1st of May, and the little goblin has done its job, and what a thoroughly lovely job it has done. There is something to be said about lightweight, tiny little vacuum cleaners that still have fairly good performance. I mean, I've not noticed that this thing's from 1989. It has taken everything I've thrown at it, it's taken everything our neighbour has thrown at it, because I had their DC-14 a couple of days ago because it had stopped working. They'd broken the cable on it, so they borrowed this for a day while I fixed that and did all that. So it's just been passed around. It's done really well. I mean, you probably wouldn't want to use it anywhere bigger than my house, which is a 2-bedroom terraced house, very small, with lashings of laminate flooring. That's also a key. You wouldn't want to use this on your best Wilton because it wouldn't do very well. Obviously, you know, flat carpet like we have in this room and laminate, not a problem at all. It sucks the dirt into the floor head very well indeed. So also, as you can see, actually, by the way it's just sort of chucked down, is a pain to store. I mean, actually this only fell out because I put it in the car and the cord fell off. I have been wrapping the cable around and doing all that, but there is, I think this is one of the only cleaners I've used that doesn't have automatic cord rewind. The Hoover Freedom didn't. That didn't have auto rewind, and it is, you want auto cord rewind. You can tell that the manufacturer is obviously saving about 50p by not putting a cord rewind in, because they wanted you to buy the more expensive version. It did, obviously this, there was a cord rewind version of these, but you don't get that now. I don't think there's any proper full main size vacuum cleaner without cord rewind. Even £20 Asda specials have cord rewind, I think, nowadays. If I'm wrong, do tell me, but I don't think you can. I think that's a fad that passed. But obviously back then that was a way of differentiating between a budget cleaner and a mid-range and high-end cleaner. Normally the budget cleaner had sod all, mid-range one would have had an extra tool, maybe somewhere to clip the tools to, and the high-end would have had tool storage, maybe even a truly decadent piston bag, full indicator. This has none of that. It is proper Billy Basic. So start with the tools. This is all you got. Crevice tool is very nice. It's really small and light. I've been using it quite a lot actually to clean out other vacuums. In fact, you can see inside of there, look. So it's been used, this. On the end of the hose, it's lovely. Probably why most of these you see nowadays only have this, because they've been relegated to use in the garage many years ago, so all of this would have disappeared. And yeah, they literally, they had the remains of a crevice tool, probably about that length, sat on the end, welded on through years of use. But yeah, crevice tool, very nice. Nice and thin as well. It's better than a Dyson V11 at getting into small gaps. I've got a video to sort out this. Obviously, yes, actually the V11, this has had more use than it perhaps might, because obviously the V11 has been out of action for most of the month. The head has now come, although I still need to film the video of it. So yes, this has had more use than perhaps it normally would. Obviously, usually we use the cordless daily, and then I go around with a corded a couple of times a week to do properly. We've had to use this. So thank you, Dyson, for making such an unreliable vacuum cleaner. This upholstery tool isn't that great. It's always been a terrible design. It's more of a gulper tool. I think it's actually a hangover from the Aquavac before Goblin tried to go a bit domestic. Because as soon as it does stick to the carpet, but that thin bit there grabs. Can't really describe it, you know what I mean? It grabs and digs in. And it's actually better off pulling it backwards to do. So I haven't really used it. I've been using the V11 for sofa and stair cleaning with its turbo brush, I would admit. So yeah, this hasn't really seen much use. It is more useful for bulk pickup of, you know, wood shavings, DIY detritus, etc. So there we go, these small tools are done with. The wands, obviously, as you know, are plastic, and I've not personally had any issue because, again, I've been floating around on laminate. If you had actual carpet, you will notice the bends. Although obviously nowadays you would have metal ones. So again, I think a couple of budget cleaners still come with plastic ones, and again, you can fit metal ones to these. You'll have to keep this bit. Although actually you could convert it. Not that, I mean, I'm probably many years too late to be giving you consumer advice on a Goblin Rio, but obviously if you had a pneumatic bent end, which is the small 32mm both ends, you could then convert this to normal 32mm tools quite nicely, but I think we're about 15 years too late to really care about that. So its tools are fine. These can now, and they're obviously utterly disgusting, these can now go back with the other Goblin Rio that I have that you haven't seen yet, because this obviously only came with the one, so yeah, job done. Floor tool is actually a bit disgusting because obviously our neighbour used it to clean, and I think her Dyson had been broken for a while before. She didn't even know I did them. She lives in like a little square, and she's like the other side, but she's opposite where I park my car. And I just say this to her, it's like, you must have seen me walk out of my car with at least a vacuum cleaner every day, every other day. This morning I put this in the back of the car. Tonight I'll take the next one out. Like, do you pay attention? And she went, well, yeah, but I didn't like to ask. She's like, no. Apparently she's quite friendly with Amy as well. So we do know. But I was like, blimey, you should have said. So yeah, this is probably going to be a bit fuller. In fact, actually, before we... Well, that's the second Dyson this thing would have helped out. Obviously I did the V11 with it because I can, it's my machine, if I want to vacuum it out with something else, because it is good for it and pulls all the fine dust out before it builds up so much that you can't. I will, thank you very much. Yes, yeah, 2 Dysons out. I think the reason that was so clammed up, and I've done this quite a few times, is that in use, obviously that's it with the brushes down, and that's the only brush you get. And I've done it before, coming off the laminate onto the rug, and you don't actually immediately notice. In fact, if anything, it provides a little bit of agitation. It just floats on the top. That's why you need a very specific type of carpet for this floor tool. If it can stick itself down, it's lovely. Otherwise, it just sort of floats along the top. So I can see why that was so grounded with hair, because I don't think it would have been on hard floor from when I would have last used it, and she obviously wouldn't know. So she's just done her whole house with it. Like that. Whoops. But yeah, lovely floor tool. You can get right under the sofas with a good half of it, so you can really get around. It's very, very flat. For hard floor, it is pretty lovely actually. I am now a fan of this floor tool for certain applications. So yes, that is that side of things sorted. However, I haven't opened this since we put the HEPA flow bag in at the beginning of the month, and although I have a sneaking suspicion that it is okay, primarily because it still has very good suction, I don't know what the state of this will be, so come down with me. It feels very heavy. We should open this up. Obviously I haven't been able to take the hose off. I've been very careful, because you can pick it up with this hose very easily, but obviously if the hose comes off, that's the bag off, so I've been very careful to not do that. We shall open it up and see how it's done. Here we go then, we'll leave the hose on for now because it will hold the bag. But yeah, I think one of the reasons that I probably like this, let's be honest, more than I should, is that it has kept its suction, because obviously it is now bagged. If I'd used this bagless, and I don't think even I'm silly enough to do that, it would have been a completely different, probably nearly hateful experience. But that does confirm that, because this thing falls out, I think we're okay. There isn't any dust or dirt on there. The bag has stayed put. It is quite folded. That's very full, actually. So, if I untwist the hose, and I'll do this cover up because it's not just got my dust in it now, we can see that that is how much it's picked up. Now obviously I have cleaned other vacuums out. This is the other flipping problem with the Dyson V11. The Beko, I'd use to clean out other stuff. I'd tear apart a completely plaster dust killed Dyson and use it. I can't do it with the V11 because people say, how you should use it for plaster dust, blah blah blah. So I'm actively having to use other cleaners to do the dirty work. So that is full. But only on that bit. Obviously this is a far too big a bag for it. Yeah, that is a nice chunk of dirt, and it does show that yes, you can HEPA flow. In fact, look, you can see the tide mark on the hose, so all that bit's been hanging on by a thread. I mean, yeah, I would only recommend HEPA flow one of these if you are a collector who is, you know, prepared for it to pop off and you haven't to sort it accordingly, or check it a bit frequently. I haven't checked it. You can tell, because like I said, if that bag had fallen off, the suction would have just decreased within seconds as the filter clogged. And yeah, it is one of the problems with these bagless but with a single filter machines like this and the Hoover Jet. And there are probably more. It's also one of the big Achilles heel with even modern cleaners that use the cheap single pleated paper filter. It's the same principle. The dirt just goes straight onto it. Oh, meh. We'll put that there. So yes, my retro trip to the 80s has been a great success. I do like this. I've had a couple of offers to buy it from people, but I'm not sure. I'm going to refurbish it. So obviously I always like to use these. Well, I didn't need to refurbish it really. I mean, I sort of like to use them before because then I can refurbish them when they're clean. But this one clean anyway, because as you remember, it has seen very little use. So there we go. Obviously the box is still at home. I didn't get the box out, and I actually have the paperwork sat on the table ready to scan in and put on my blog, but as of now I have forgotten to do that. But yes, little tiny vacuum cleaner with a big punch. You know, if you're in a little flat with not deep pile carpet and fancied a retro machine, I mean these are quite cheap when they come up for sale, and you were prepared to HEPA flow it, I really would recommend one. It follows you around like a little puppy dog. It's great. But it's also yesterday's news, because we need to fill this gap here with what we are going to use for this month, and I'm going a little bit different in my style. I think style might have been the wrong way to end that clip, because obviously there's only one style we have here, it's vacuum cleaners. No, I meant going in a different direction with the quality. And I've been itching to do this ever since I finished off the refurb. Mr. James said I could keep it in payment for refurbishing his. What am I on about, Beko, you blithering idiot. Well, if I can smoothly bring my camera up so I don't have to do an effect. We are Electroluxing it for this month. For the month of May. We are going from teeny tiny to massive. From bottom of the range, utterly budget, to so high tech, flagship and expensive that it was an utterly terrible seller because everybody just bought the cheaper Dolphin, which is essentially the same machine. Yes, we are going from having just one little on-off switch to having full remote control power. Yes, we are going for the Electrolux 4x4. My Electrolux 4x4. James has his back now. This is mine. This is actually the second best one as well. That's how well they came out. This is the one that isn't or wasn't completely mint. This is my one. Obviously I've got the scratched top there and the bumper with the scuff that wouldn't polish out and the more scratched up base plate, and I think I've got the wheel that doesn't quite go straight, but none of that bothers me because it's an Electrolux 4x4 and my gosh, it is a beast, an absolute beast. So before we have a look at the cleaner, what do we have? Well, we are going from plastic fixed switch tubes, which are too short. That was another negative actually. I was stooping down a little bit, which again was fine for wafting over hard floors, but if you had to actually do some cleaning, you would snap them in frustration rather than snap them by accident. We have fully telescopic, probably aluminium. In fact, it can go even lower, but that tool clip is a bit of a problem. We also have a parking bracket as well. That's another big fail with the Goblin. It was a right sod to store. I ended up shoving it behind the coats. Here, look, we can... Ooh, high end. Because this is from a similar era actually. Where's this from? This is from 1989. But no, ooh, is it 1989? I think it is. But I'm fairly sure this is actually 1989. Am I right? It's the second one across, the one that says 907. No, it's not. It's from 1994. I didn't think it was from 1989. Forgot the date, Wilson. Just ignore me. So it's from 1994. This is from 1989, but they're actually probably quite similar because this would have been in development quite a lot earlier than there. So yeah, we'll call them both early 90s because I just messed that up completely really. We have actually a much bigger floor tool, which is probably going to be a little bit annoying because it does that and I'm not sure how much I'm going to like that, but we do not need to bother ourselves with pedals like peasants. We have a floating, automatically adjusting floor tool with inserted felt wheels, which will mean hopefully it'll be a bit quieter in use, we shall see. But yeah, very nice floor tool. This does stick itself down nicely. Oh, let me just put that back together. Obviously we have lay hose, which although works better with its new batteries, but that's still a little bit loose. Why is that so loose? I think I need to actually do the screws up. I think I might need to take this apart and wrap a load of tape around in there because that's going to be highly annoying, but I can't do that now anyway because I don't have my tools on me. So there we go, we have that. Obviously this does only work if you sort of point it backwards at the machine, but it might be different in use. Obviously I'm standing here filming all the time with it, standing almost on top of the sodding thing. If I'm, you know, a hose length away, this does point backwards, so it might be a little bit nicer. Or it'll annoy the absolute tits out of me the whole month. We shall see. Have a look at the machine, and I just want to check it has a bag in it as well, because I can't fully remember. This has been up in the loft since the after video with a bag over it so it doesn't get too dirty. Oh, down a click. So yeah, I can't, in fact it's had this bag over it, so I can't remember what the state of it is, but yes, we have tools, Mr. James found the missing dusting brush. So for this month we have a dusting brush, although it needs a clean. I haven't cleaned it. That's about as stiff as the Dyson stubborn brush anyway, so probably won't be doing too much dusting with it. Also we have a crevice tool and an upholstery tool with litter pickers, so it might be a bit nicer to use. We have a filter fitted, that's good. If we put our finger under the other latch, we do have a bag. Now, I have thought about this for the last couple of days. Obviously, when we had the Electrolux Dolphin, which let's be honest, this is, especially in terms of the bag, because this is a Dolphin bag from a packet of Dolphin. We did HEPA flow the Dolphin, but I feel that I HEPA flow things too much. I feel that we should go for the full, authentic 1994 experience and use what I think is a double layered paper bag. We have our pre-motor filter installed, we have our post-motor filter installed. I think it'll be good enough. We're going to give it a go anyway, because I can't be bothered to HEPA flow it now. We'll give it we'll stick with paper bags. The other thing I'm not too sure about is going to be the cord reel, because obviously in the early 90s, I know Miele did this as well, I think Sebo did as well. Obviously it was far too much effort to have a button. I mean, God, who wants to push a button to wind your cable back in? Obviously you may not want all of the cord out. So it floats in and out. It's such a smooth, it is a normal cord reel, I won't lie, with the brake bit chopped off. That made me laugh. It's a Dolphin cord reel, but with the little rubber wheel that grips it chopped off. But obviously it's supposed to follow you out and then go back in as you clean. So it's gonna be interesting to see how much that annoys me, because I am a pull all the cable out and just leave it sort of chap, and have been for many years. So this is going to be a little bit of an adjustment, I cannot lie. It remains to be seen if it's annoying, but well, we shall see. It's like now that to turn it on to obviously temperature, I've got to have the cable doing that, whereas it'd be much nicer, and I'm going to do this now, if I could just brace it underneath something so it goes on the floor. So yes, we have our, it's fairly mint, it's a bit scratched up, but obviously it's from 1994. We are going to use our executive cleaner, which I've just turned on as well. I don't know, you can't see that, but yeah, it is on. Look, the boost light is also the standby light, and of course I don't need the hose plugged in because it all works off of the remote control. If I, there we go. So minimum, automatic, and on these it lowers the motor when it detects an obstruction and then raises it. Max, so that's max, and boost. Let's boost, come on. And off. Already this is possibly going to annoy us. Obviously being from 1994, the height of technology of 1994 was line of sight infrared, which isn't the best for a vacuum cleaner. So yeah, it's gonna, I'm not entirely sure I'm going to completely love it, but you know, this is why I do it to myself. So we are going to stick with it as it should be, with a paper bag, the filtration it has from the factory. Oh, and we'll see how we go. I mean, luckily I don't have any disgusting Dysons to refurbish that's going to warrant getting this full of plaster dust. So we should be alright in that respect. More so we're not using the automatic mode very much, because I don't know if I'll pick it up on camera, but it sounds like the motor is burning out. Because as soon as the throttle lifts up, it goes to full power. As soon as it comes down, it drops the power again. And I've always thought that it makes the cleaner sound like it's burning out, whereas on that, at least it stays constant. The floor tub is already doing that, but it's this design always. Let me stick it on minimum, because that's actually still got a fair bit of stuff. Just on minimum, but then I haven't got a shout to talk to you. Yeah, this style of floor head was used on, I know Dyson used it on the DC02 and the DC01. It's a bit of a fiddly, flattery thing. Actually, using it in minimum, it's pretty terrible because it's just wafting over the top. It does work better in max because it glues itself down a bit. And at least makes you believe it is doing something constructive. Obviously, it's very. Sitting back on minimum. It is very manoeuvrable because it has 360-degree wheels, although it is still like dragging a block of flats. And as your front room, it is very, very heavy. But that's it. I filmed it now. Maybe we are about to see why these are so unpopular that they are very rare. I know James paid a fortune for both of these and then gave me one for making his one work really well, which I'm still very thankful for. Thank you, James. But yeah, because they would have been at least £100, probably more expensive than even the top of the range Dolphin. I imagine the Dolphin electronic 4x4, which seems to be Electrolux's branding for electronic control cleaners, would have been cheaper than this, and I think that came out before this. It might have been the Dolphin 4x4's replacement actually. Anybody know Electrolux timelines? Do shout, because I might learn something. But yeah, this would have been way more expensive than the equivalent Dolphin. And I'll be honest, probably not much better. But we have one, it is cool. I'm going to pretend that I'm a thrusting early 90s executive with a massive pay packet and an even bigger penis, driving me Porsche, going home to my 7-bedroomed house with maybe my wife or mistress, and live the life of early 90s opulence. So, thank you very much for watching. We shall see if I'm going to regret not HEPA flow this at the end of the month. Obviously we know it's spotless, so we can very soon see if any dust has escaped. But for now, I will see you soon. Bye bye.